All right, let's talk about one of the weirdest and, frankly, most important things in AI right now: why it sometimes just makes stuff up. We're going to break down exactly what's happening when your favorite AI tool gets a little too creative for its own good. You know that feeling, right? You ask a question and you get this answer that's just beautiful. It's so well written, so confident. But then there's that little voice in the back of your head that goes, wait a minute, is any of this real? You might get something that sounds totally legit, like this. It's got a year, a field of study, even a name. The only problem? Dr. Picklebottom doesn't exist. Neither does his paper. And that right there is a perfect example of what we're talking about. So, what do we actually call this? The official term is an AI hallucination. But I want you to get the idea of the AI lying out of your head. It's not trying to deceive you. It's more like it's guessing, but with a whole lot of style. So, yeah, the textbook definition is pretty straightforward. It's when an AI gives you information that's just flat out wrong, could never be true, or is totally made up. But it says it like it's the absolute truth. There's no I think or maybe, just pure, unshakable confidence. This is honestly the best way to think about it. Imagine you ask your little 5-year-old nephew a question he doesn't know. He's probably not going to say, I don't know. He's going to beam at you and invent something awesome, like Banana City. He's not lying, he's just trying to give you an answer. That's our AI. Okay, but why? Why does this even happen? To get that, we've got to pop the hood and take a quick look at how these things actually work. And don't worry, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. This is the number one thing to remember. AI doesn't know facts. It's a word prediction machine. Think of it like the autocomplete on your phone, but on a massive scale. Its main goal isn't to be right, its goal is to pick the next word that sounds most plausible in a sentence. So these models are trained on like a huge chunk of the internet, but it's not the whole internet, and it's not everything ever written. When you ask it about something that wasn't in its training data, it hits a gap, and instead of just stopping, it improvises. It just starts making up details to fill in the blanks. This one's actually kind of human. The AI is programmed to be a helpful assistant, so it really doesn't like to say, I don't know. It's like when you ask someone where the scissors are and they confidently tell you in the kitchen drawer, just to be helpful, even though they have no idea where they actually are. You've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? Well, it's totally true for AI. If you ask a really fuzzy or open-ended question, the AI has to guess what you're really asking for. It can't ask for more details, so it just takes a shot in the dark, and that shot can be way off base. And this one is a huge one to remember. Every single AI model has a knowledge cutoff date. It literally does not know anything that has happened in the world after its training was completed. So if you ask it about current events, it's just guessing based on old patterns. It's almost guaranteed to be wrong. Now, it's super important we don't mix up hallucinations with another big AI problem: bias. They might seem related, but they're two very different beasts with very different causes. Here's the simplest way to put it. A hallucination is a failure of fact. The AI is just wrong about reality, like making up a historical event. Bias, on the other hand, is a failure of fairness. That's when the AI's answer reflects the stereotypes and prejudices from its training data, like if you ask for a picture of a CEO and it only shows you men. So where are you most likely to bump into these very confident, very wrong answers? Well, they have a few favorite places to show up. Let's run through the greatest hits of AI nonsense. You'll see it invent entire books and studies, which is wild. It'll give you medical or legal advice with absolute certainty. Please, never listen to it. It loves to create these super specific statistics out of thin air. And sometimes, it just gets weirdly and hilariously wrong, like looking at a picture of a fluffy dog and telling you it's a potato. Okay, I know this all sounds a little chaotic, but here's the good news. It's not a lost cause, not at all. There are real things that both the companies making AI and you as the user can do to get these hallucinations under control. So on the company side, they're working on a few things. One is a cool technique called RAG, which is basically giving the AI a small, fact-checked library to use for its answers instead of just the whole wild internet. They're also adding guardrails, rules that basically tell it, hey, don't guess. And maybe most importantly, they're trying to teach it to be okay with just saying, I don't know. And here's your part. This is your user cheat sheet. Be super specific with your questions. Always ask for real, verifiable sources. You can even write "do not guess" right in your prompt. Ask it how confident it is in its answer. You are in the driver's seat, so you have to manage the conversation. All of this, really, it all leads to one major fundamental shift in how we need to think about these tools. We've got to change our relationship with AI. This is it. This is the single most important takeaway. Stop thinking of AI as this all-knowing professor who has all the answers. Start thinking of it like a super enthusiastic, incredibly fast, but sometimes clueless junior assistant. It can do incredible work, but you absolutely have to check it. And that brings us right back to where we started. The AI is just like that sweet grandchild. It wants to help, it's so eager, and its confidence is through the roof. But if you don't give it clear instructions and keep an eye on it, well, you might end up with a broken remote. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know why it makes stuff up, how will you change your approach? How will you write your next prompt differently to make this an amazing tool instead of a source of fiction? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.